Hi, I am Claire Bond. I am the CEO of Strategize Branding, and today we are going to be talking with angel investor Jonathan Hung to really just talk about this really unsettling environment and kind of a lot of stuff that's going on. I know a lot of startups are a little unsure of what's going on and where they should go from here. So we got some great questions, and Jonathan is going to give us some answers, much needed answers, to hopefully shed some light in this really, this unknown that we're in, right?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So Jonathan, tell me a little bit about, just to kind of introduce everybody to who you are.
Sure, definitely. So my name's Jonathan Hung. I'm one of the co-managing partners of Unicorn Venture Partners. We're a pre-seed, seed, and Series A venture capital firm here in Los Angeles. Of course, we have a lot of our deal flow here in California, but also in Texas and also on the East Coast as well. I've been personally an angel investor since 2012, with a lot of small checks here and there, anywhere from like 25,000 to 500,000 I've made. I never thought I would be a general partner. I always thought I'd just be a limited partner. And it's been a great experience, like working with my two other partners. You know, we really complement each other well. One's more of a CFO, I'm more of a COO, and the other one just has great experience through his family business and his other personal investments.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's dig into our questions. Mm-hmm. So the first one that I have is, how do you see the COVID-19 outbreak changing the seed stage and pre-seed stage investing landscape?
Well, I think for our point of view right now with COVID-19, it's going to change how many people are actually going to be willing to write checks right now. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. As I said, like I'm an LP. I was always an LP. I'm an LP, a bunch of different funds in Los Angeles, from Wavemaker to Fika to BAM Ventures. And, people are writing emails to their LPs saying, listen, we're in crazy times right now. We got to be really, really careful to make sure that our companies can grow. We're probably not going to invest in new companies right now. We're going to make sure that the cash flow of all our current companies in the portfolio have enough to withstand this current recession, because we have no idea how long it's going to last. So I think everybody, all their forecasting for 2020, totally have to go back to the drawing board and see what to do, because, retail is totally different than it was literally 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. That's what's so crazy if you think about how things were a month ago.
Yeah. It's crazy to think, because like this year alone, it's funny enough, like I was in Shanghai in January. Yeah. I've been to New York. I was on a cruise. I've been to Boston. I've been to Vegas. So I've as of right now, I don't have the virus. So hey, not that much. Yeah. So it's my whole travel schedule is totally like, I'm stuck. Here I am at home right now. Yeah. Totally different. Because like someone like me, I would have to be constantly going out there meeting people, but no, everything's on teleconference now.
Yeah, it is very crazy. But maybe you get to relax a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, like, I don't have to wear pants. No, I'm just joking.
Whoa, no,
I'm not kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke. No, but like, it's just like,
marvelous Miss Maisel. Did you ever see that? He like never wears pants.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I got to comb my hair a little bit today, I guess. Yeah. Because I'm going to be recorded. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny. All right, so let's get to the second question. So in an economic downturn, which really we're going into, what do you suggest startups do for damage control?
Well, first and foremost, it's about the team. Like when we see pre-seed and seed deals, it's like, is your team able to withstand and make through it? I mean, like sometimes you have an amazing idea, and I learned this the hard way myself. Amazing idea, but if you don't have the right team, if they can't and these are the people you want in your foxhole with you. I mean, I don't want to use the illusion that, it's not a fight or a war, but you're going through trying times, and you have to make sure that the people around you, because you can't do this by yourself, are with you till the end. Or there's like an agreement, like how far we're willing to go before we have to, pivot to something else.
Okay. So I mean, if a startup is dealing with something kind of like, then maybe they don't believe in their team, is this maybe the time to make changes like that?
Oh, completely. Because yeah, definitely. Because you're going to see that with Fortune 500 companies all the way down to small cap equity companies all the way down to 2 people teams. I mean, like, when you look at like acceleration growth, when a company goes from C to Series A, it's all about growth. It's all about getting enough money so they can go market and get more and more companies or more and more customers. Because at the end of the day, it's all about accelerating growth. But right now, growth is stagnated. There's no way people are going to start buying or spending when we don't know what's going on with this virus and how the government's going to be dealing with it. So right now, it's all about saying, well, listen, we need to cut certain things out of the budget, probably marketing, probably certain employees that are outsourced to other countries, or there's going to be more teleconferencing. And we got to find a way to, cut the burn, as everyone says, because you're not going to have more revenue coming in to offset your burn right now. So right now, how can you extend your runway? One of our portfolio companies, they have decided to take a 20 to 50% reduction in their salaries. These are the co-founders, and they just say, okay, we want to extend our runway because we have no idea how long this recession will last us.
Yeah. Very, very good advice. Awesome. Okay. So next question. Is this the right time for startups to just really kind of clean house, spruce up their pitch deck, just really kind of prepare for the future? Is this a good time to do that?
Definitely so, because in my opinion, if you're fundraising, you should be always at the very least monthly changing your pitch deck. I mean, I wouldn't say weekly or daily, that's crazy, but monthly, because things do change. I remember when I was working at Morgan Stanley as a financial advisor, we had a new COO come in, and she said, well, listen, if you're doing the same thing you were doing 5 years ago, there's something wrong with what you're doing, because nothing stays the same. Everything's always constantly changing and changing and changing. There's new products that come out, there's new competition. How are you creating the most around your business? So I would say definitely redo your pitch decks, and especially forecast your numbers. Of course, these numbers, we can't go out 4 or 5 years, but at least say, this year, this is what I'm doing with this money. What can I do to grow and why I need help?
Okay. What do you tell your portfolio companies to do for risk mitigation?
Definitely, we have a beverage company in our portfolio right now, which, they were doing great. They just got into Sprouts. They're on Amazon. They're about to get into Albertsons. But unfortunately, because of cash flow issues and everything slowing down, they're going to run into potential bankruptcy. So fortunately, we were able to raise enough money to get them to another 6 to 9 months of runway. And right now, what we're going to do is listen, we need to reassess. Before, maybe it was just quarterly updates or monthly updates. Right now, it's going to be weekly. I'm going to call in every day to make sure, because I can't invest in new companies right now. I have to invest to make sure the companies that we have in the portfolio can last longer and longer. I mean, in venture, it's not always a slam dunk. If you're hitting 20%, 200, that's pretty good. You're going to go to the Hall of Fame for venture capital. But right now, it's okay. I mean, especially with these trying times. I just remember when I was a financial advisor in 2007, and you had clients who wanted to sell when their portfolio was down 30 to 40%. And imagine if they just held, they would be even higher than they are now. Yeah. And even though with this pullback now, they'd still be better than where they sold back in 2008, 2009. Yeah. So you just have to follow a strategy together and make sure what you're doing weekly, you're hitting your targets better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's like a hard thing. There's a lot of fear right now, especially, you're thinking about your portfolios and things like that. There's a lot of fear. So it's kind of not giving into that fear, just, getting a strategy, getting a plan. Very cool. We see that fear right now, right, in the market.
Oh, completely. And just because people aren't writing out checks or wiring money right now, that doesn't mean they won't when things start to get less murky and more clear. So keep having those conversations. I told the CEO of our beverage company, listen, just because you got this money doesn't mean you stop raising. You better keep on going. Because listen, people like me, we still have to do something for work. We have to get the word out there. I mean, even so, sometimes it's the trying times that make you work even harder. Instead of when it's great. When everything's great, money's easy. You don't there's so many things that can come up that you don't even think are issues. But now everything's an issue. I think some people think I personally do better with pressure. There's this thing where pressure either turns you to a diamond or bursts your pipes. And sometimes I need pressure in order to do better.
Yeah.
because I just need a little, because that focuses you better with your
A
time.
little bit. But is this
Yeah.
the right time to reduce headcount and start outsourcing?
I learned this when I went to MIT, and it's a standard answer to everything. It just depends.
Okay.
Because you could be in a growth stage where, like, how can you get rid of your chief marketing officer? If this is like, you need to get your product in front of more people. I mean, really good companies can't get rid of their chief marketing officer right now, because you might cut back on Facebook spends and Google's ad revenue spending, but that doesn't mean you get rid of the person who's in charge of all this, because they have to be able to redo everything. I mean, depending on where your cash flow is, you might have to get rid of some people just to survive. But if it's about like getting rid of an entire department, that makes no sense. It depends where you are in the stage. If you're early stage and you're just trying to get that first check, it's fine. You're not even that, you're really lean to begin with. Like most seed and pre-seed companies, I mean, they don't really have necessarily a business development person or a marketing person yet. So you're not spending that much, but maybe you do need the CTO. I mean, you're going to have to program and get your application out there, whether it's a tech company or a consumer company.
But
So
do you think they should like change, maybe if they do have a lot of like full-time employees switching to outsourcing? Is that a better idea, or is it?
I think in terms of that, it does make sense of certain roles, because like you still have to get on the phone, like sales guys, or sales women. It's not about just like, oh, you have these contacts. Like you have to be before, like you're out on the road hustling and meeting people. Now it's just like you got to do it over the phone, and it's a totally different experience. So maybe you need to find people who are better tailored for that, versus people who just need to meet in person. So I think really it depends on where your cash flow situation is and what you can withstand. And also, the government, there's a big stimulus package. I remember when they bailed out, banks and mortgage lenders back in the day in 2008 during the Great Recession. I'm curious to see what they're going to call this period in the history books.
Yeah.
But it was important to understand where you were. And, like certain CEOs have come out and said, we are not reducing any headcount. And that's great for right now. But, you have to have like, at least a talk. You should definitely talk with your investors and say, hey, what do you think? Because that's what you're getting, not just our money, but also our experience. Like, I've been through this before. Like, I think you should do this and do that. And it ultimately is your decision as the entrepreneur to do what you want to do for your company, but you got to get all the information you can and the best advice to make the right decision.
Okay. What have you told your portfolio companies to do in this unprecedented situation? I mean, I guess it's probably changing weekly and daily, but what's your advice for them then over the last couple of weeks?
I think really it's just get on the phone, talk to people. It's funny, like a lot of times, like because you have general partners in the firm, and you got to make sure that you can talk to everybody. Like sometimes one person can talk to 50 portfolio companies, which is great, but you're going to get stretched thin. Because we have 2 or we have 3 partners at Unicorn, we can divide it up. Like, listen, you focus on this team, I focus on that team, and we come together if we need each other's help. So we have different like backgrounds and expertise. But get on the phone, because like some people, like I haven't even heard of. I don't want to get that phone call just like, okay, yeah, we're out of money. What do we do? Like, I'd rather you get on the phone with me, talk about your current situation, and see how we can go forward. Because, like, listen, it was great of you to be eager to, get our trust. You wrote a check, but now it's time to help get more than just money from us. It could be because maybe we can find people to help you raise more money, or get you the right, like you said, like maybe we have to go from more full-time to part-time employees. Maybe we know the right people to help you find what's best for your company right now, and reduce the burn and offset costs.
If local angel investment dries up, should startups use video-based pitches to try to gain attention of angel investors nationwide or even in other places of the world?
I definitely think video is the way to go now. I mean, before, we had all these pictures with Instagram, but you see Instagram and Snapchat and even TikTok, it's all about video. I think if something comes off more cross talking, like what we're doing right now, versus just a pitch deck. You have to see like how people believe what they're doing, and see it in their eyes, see it in their feelings, because it really captures, someone's, I don't want to say inner soul, but like really what they are doing. Because like it's easy to sprout out numbers and say like everything's great, but you have to have that personal one-on-one talk and to say like, why is your situation more unique than someone else's? So I definitely think doing pitches through video is always good. Like I remember going in business school, that's what we were doing. Before it's like, yeah, you had your interview and resume. Now it's just like, hey, we're gonna have to host. It's not, the world is so much bigger, or not bigger. I mean, smaller than what it was, because now it's like I could have a team in different time zones, and we're working all together. So you have to be good at working with everybody because they're all spread out, and especially now we're not going to be going to the office right now.
Yeah. But do you see kind of, I mean, obviously it's very unknown, but do you see things moving more towards, like, instead of investing locally, people will look at other places around the world to invest, and the video pitch is the way to get there? Do you see that changing?
I see that now with like a bunch of accelerators, and really, like, you see all these like school-based pitch events as well. I think it's like, the idea is to get your product or your idea or your business plan in front of as many people as possible. Just if you were interviewing, like, you're going to send your resumes to everywhere, and you got to get across that, like, you're ready to do this, you know what you want, and just to get more, because you have to get in front of people. That's all it is. You can't just rely on one market or one customer right now, especially if you're trying to grow your sales and grow your revenue.
If there is a downturn, is it a good time for startups to start searching for talent and new hires? Like, is this a good time to do that?
I think, I had a professor once. She was a Wharton entrepreneurship professor. Now she's a Harvard professor. I don't know if that's better. I don't know, because in the rankings that came out, we're still higher than Harvard. Wharton's number one, and Harvard went to number 6, I think. So U.S. News. Hey, that's U.S. News talking. I don't know.
Yeah.
But but she always said, hire slow and fire fast. And I thought, that's a great little phrase, because it's just like, and she has a new book out, Dr. Laura Huang, where she says that, and it's like, yes, you should definitely always look to be hiring the right person. Constantly, you should always constantly looking to find the right person to be part of your team to help you grow. But if that person's not right, you have to get rid of them as soon as you can, because they're only, a burden on you financially.
Dead weight.
So you have to always look for the best talent possible. And sometimes you might have to overpay, but it works out better for you in the long run, because it helps your company grow, gets you to where you need faster.
So if a startup is dealing with a kind of a limited runway and they know that they need this new hire, do you think that's a good risk to take if they know that they need it to get to the next level, to maybe get funding? And is it a good risk to take on hiring now, or should they wait?
Like I said, always, it just depends, but it's different between, like, your first hire sometimes is sales or your CTO. Those are probably, besides you being the CEO or having a CFO or COO, your salesperson and your tech person, depending on what kind of startup you have, are the most important roles you need for your team. Because even if you think of a Fortune 500 company, sales people do not get fired first. They're the last to go, because you have to generate revenue.
Right.
And if you have a product, you better make sure you have the right, especially if it's a tech company, you have the right CTO to make sure that your code is better today, but then also better in the future as you go forward, because the world is constantly changing, and you need to find the right talent. Like, that's why you see Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon hiring away all the best talent right now. People aren't becoming lawyers. People aren't becoming iBankers anymore. You just have to find the best talent.
The last one we have is, what advice do you have for startups right now? Like, what's your advice that you would give them during this uncertain time?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is, you can't just hunker down. I mean, I think it's easy, oh yeah, well, let's see what happens in the world. Like, my father told me once, it's always tough working for family, but when I had to move back from Shanghai at the time, working for Cummins, I had to take over the family business, and he always taught me this really important rule. Especially when you're the boss, when you're the entrepreneur, when you're in charge, you have to watch out for the blind side, because no one's going to help you figure that out. I mean, it's like, it's not just like in football where you have a left tackle, right tackle that's protecting you, but it's just like, you have to always be aware. You can't focus on one thing. You have to look at everything across the whole board to make sure, what can I be doing better daily? So I would say, always watch out for your blind side. Don't react. Don't be more proactive than reactive.
Okay, awesome. And I guess it goes back to what we talked about earlier, to be preparing, right?
Yeah.
or when this kind of we come out of this, because we will come out of this.
No, we will. Instead of just buying like all the toilet paper and Lysol sprays and water, like I would say, like let's look at the best opportunities too.
Yeah.
Because scared money doesn't make money. I heard that many times. And it's just like you can't be scared right now. You have to face like these are like Warren Buffett and everyone else. These are great buying opportunities. Like if you believe a company is great now, why won't it be great later when it's even better times? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you have to believe in your product and company.
Yeah, that is always the key, right? Because what Angel, I've heard that and you I think told me this too, is that venture and angels, like they don't invest in the company, they invest in the founder. So it's the founder that has to show that they are not scared.
Yeah, it's all about having true grit and understanding, like having this relentlessness, because it could always be like, yeah, it could be easier. I could find some other job or do something else. But really, this is the time where like you have to believe in yourself and take a risk and take a chance. And anybody who's successful will tell you that, like, yeah, it's half of it's being prepared, the other part is just being lucky. Maybe if you kept working harder and harder, you will find your luck.
Awesome. Well, I think that's like great advice. It's like stuff that really people that can really do. You can really, get to work on it. So, and thank you so much, Jonathan, for answering these questions. And if you guys have any other questions that you want Jonathan to answer, just send him an email on his website, send him a DM on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. Just let us know, and we can answer it in the next Q&A.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Claire. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.